Hey everybody! In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about what it is like to be a parent living with DID. Now, a lot of people have this image that parents with DID are completely debilitated and can't cope or function and aren't good parents to their kids. And while I'm sure there may be some people out there who that is true for, it's not true for me, and it's not true for probably most people with DID. People are people. There's going to be people who can't cope, regardless of whether or not they have mental health struggles or other things going on in their life, and it's not really dependent on any particular thing you have going on. So, let's talk about some of the biggest struggles of being a parent with DID and the ways that I cope with them. So, the first one is time. And I don't mean being able to spend time with my daughter, because I do that quite a lot. I mean managing time, being aware of how much time has passed. Because of the way that DID works, I'm not always aware of exactly what time it is, exactly how much time has passed, what day it is. It's very, very easy for me to lose track of these things. Now, I cope with this by setting reminders on my phone for doing things at specific times, setting alarms, and checking the time frequently. This also helps me to be aware if I'm starting to dissociate, so that I can bring myself back to the present, or make sure that whoever it is who is going to be coming out is someone who is prepared to deal with whatever it is needs to get done for my daughter while they're out here. Now, I am the primary caregiver for my daughter, and the others do help. But as a general rule, I'm the one present when she is awake. Now, the second struggle is being able to stay consistent. And by that, I mean giving the same answer to a question about rules every time. Or being able to remember what I said about something in the past. Because with DID, there's often a significant amount of trouble with memory. And that is because of the way that dissociation affects the brain and affects memory. So my way of coping with that is to write things down. If there is something specific that I have said is not allowed for her, I write that down, so that I will remember and I can make sure that I'm consistently enforcing the rules, because kids need consistency. So I go out of my way to make sure that I am being consistent. I write things down, I keep lists, I ask the others to let me know about things if I'm forgetting something, to tell me. And the third struggle is when it comes to getting enough sleep. Now, a lot of people, if you're not parents, don't realize how important it really is as a parent to get adequate sleep, but it's huge. Getting good sleep has a huge impact on your ability to parent, on your ability to make good, sound decisions, on your ability to function. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't always get very good sleep. For about the last year, I've had significant trouble sleeping, to the point that I'm falling asleep at midnight sometimes. And part of the reason for that is because one of our littles, Allie, who age slides between the ages of 3 and 11, for most of our childhood, she was the nighttime host. She was the one who was out at night. And, in fact, for most of our lives, even. But now that she no longer has to be out by herself and I can be co-conscious with her, it creates this issue because she doesn't want to go to bed. And then I feel like I don't want to go to bed because I'm getting the bleed through of her feelings. So it can make it really difficult. There's a lot of anxiety and fear, and it just makes it really hard to sleep. The way that I cope with that is by having a calming bedtime routine, setting reminders, and making sure I've written down everything I need to do for the next day so that I don't feel like there's anything to worry about. Also offering comfort and as much safety as I possibly can to Allie, and trying to help her because she is perpetually stuck in flashbacks, which are very re-traumatizing and stressful for her. So trying to help her come out of that. That's slow going, but hopefully things will continue to improve for her because I really hate to see her suffer, and we all do. None of us want anybody in here to be hurting or unhappy in the general sense. Not saying we all need to be happy all the time, of course. But getting sleep can be very, very difficult. And so I've had to make a routine and stick to it in order to be able to get up and do the things I need to do. So those are the main struggles for me. Now, other DID systems might have other struggles. They might have things that are more of a struggle than others. Everyone's different and everyone's experience is valid. Now, here are some things that DID allows me to do that maybe other parents who don't have DID can't. The first one is that I can get perspective from a child other than my daughter, meaning the littles, about decisions I'm going to make. Like, for instance, if I'm considering whether or not something is fair, I'm going to ask the littles what their opinion is also, so that I can get a more balanced view, so that I can try to see it more from the perspective of a child. Because, as anybody with kids can attest, sometimes they're going to want to do things or want to have things that just aren't reasonable. But being able to talk to the littles, I can see the perspective of a child and why that would be a want. Why it feels so important. Because my daughter is not always able to communicate those things directly to me. Because she is on the autism spectrum and has trouble with communication. I am also on the autism spectrum, so it can make things fairly interesting. But another thing that DID allows me to do is it allows me to be able to lean on others for support and get advice even if nobody else is home. It allows me to ask other people if what I'm doing is fair or if what I am doing is coming from a place of hurt or anger, to make sure that I'm not meting out unfair consequences. It helps me to get a more balanced view of my actions when I can ask the opinions of other people who can see them from the inside and have an outside perspective. And then the final thing is that I can experience the wonder of childhood by being co-conscious with one of the littles while they play with my daughter. That means that I can watch and experience what it's like to be a kid again. Help me get more perspective and help me to see what it's like to be playing those games and feeling those feelings, so that it gives me the ability to get in touch with that in a way that other people may not be able to. And so in that sense, I am very grateful to have the others to do all of these things. Sometimes life with DID is hard, I'm not going to lie. It's not a bed of roses, it's not always fun. But like with anything, there can be upsides to it. And I wanted to share some of those with you. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Have a good day, everybody.